All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Brandon Cruz Daily Fantasy Podcast. No intro or anything. This is going to have no real fantasy implications or any fantasy talk whatsoever. We need to talk about NASCAR and the integrity of the sport because, dude, we're 2 days removed from the race at Kansas, and I still have a bad taste in my mouth. Like I'm still absolutely frustrated with NASCAR blatantly fixing the race or blatantly manipulating the race because they don't like the outcome that the race was going to have. Even if things happen, say if somebody blows a tire, hey, that's racing, that happens. But that whole tire fiasco, we really need to look at NASCAR and really understand, like, is it worth my time to even watch it? Like, everybody knows I don't like NASCAR. I only watch it for DFS, and I only play NASCAR DFS because I can't play poker here in Texas. Okay, so when I put time and effort, and this isn't me being tilted about how the race played out, things of that nature, disclosure, I was winning. I was tied for first on FanDuel for the majority of the race, had 3 really good lines on DraftKings. Obviously, things changed there, so maybe it's that type of tilt. Maybe that is really what's fueling this, frustration with NASCAR. I want to at least put that out there. So maybe it's that. Maybe I'm overreacting. I don't think I am, though. But look, we don't put money on WWE. That's an entertainment sport. NASCAR is moving more and more and more towards an entertainment sport. Certainly over the last few years, with how the playoff structure is, with the whole knockout rounds in the playoffs, with the whole, hey, you got to do what you got to do to get to the championship, a.k.a. Harvick almost pretty much wrecking Kyle Busch trying to get in. People wrecking more and more, often, later in the season. And that's not racing. For a racing organization, NASCAR does not like racing. Why do you think the All-Star race has like 15 restarts in it? Because that's what NASCAR wants to promote. They want to promote side-by-side racing. People don't believe me when I cite sources or when I say, hey, my source says this, my source says that, but I got 7 sources within NASCAR between a few different tracks, between a few different teams, even somebody within ISC, International Speedway Corporation, basically the stakeholders in NASCAR. So when I bring things up and people are like, whoa, how'd you know that before? It was on NASCAR Race Hub or one of these dumbass YouTubers on NASCAR YouTube, Step, Land, whoever it is, they brought this up a while back. It's because, listen, I'm not bullshitting you guys with, these rumors and stuff. I bring things that I think is important out to try and help DFS wise. The one that I'm pretty sure everybody already kind of knows, but it's confirmed that NASCAR doesn't want Kyle Larson to win races. It looks bad. The driver who said the gamer word, last year in a time where they're really trying to be inclusive and they're really trying to push people like Bubba Wallace and diversity amongst this. The whole, what was the race? I just went blank. The Boys and Girls Club of America. And look, I'm a minority. I'm Hispanic. I can say that. I look white, but I got a Hispanic last name or Spanish last name, so I got to point out, all the children in the background were minorities. There was not a single white person there. So NASCAR has this image that they're trying to put out, and NASCAR does not want Kyle Larson to win races. That is why they changed the outcourse of the race at Kansas. I mean, the tire situation is either it's too dangerous for the competitors, so you got to throw yellow or immediately, or it poses no danger and you keep it green. You can't be like, well, it poses danger, but we're going to let everything play out, for, 15 laps, and we don't want to mess up pit cycling. Well, you've always done that, whether it's debris, at least in the past, you've always done that. Whether it's debris, a tire, something happens in green flag pit stops, you're never like, whoa, hold on, we got to wait for everybody's strategy to play out. The only reason they did that was because they found it quote-unquote boring racing. Whereas for me, the best races this year have been Atlanta and Kansas because the best car has gotten to the front. And Kansas provided, more passing than I expected within the field. Obviously, nobody could catch up to Larson because they're faster than everybody else. But that's not Larson's fault. That's not Hendrick's fault. Hey, NASCAR, if you don't want somebody pulling away from the field, let's bring back practice so, teams can kind of catch up. But yeah, NASCAR, I mean, and I've heard that from numerous people, that NASCAR is, they don't really want Larson to be that good. They don't want him to be the face of NASCAR following last year's fiasco where Chip Ganassi lost sponsors, and the scrutiny of NASCAR based on their history, based on the Confederate flag, based on where they came from. They're really trying to get past that. And they're really worried that corporate America, won't embrace NASCAR if Larson is at the top of the world. And I'm hearing that from multiple people. And going back to integrity and everything, like, what's the fucking point of looking through lap data, looking through how, all these teams are bringing their cars, unloading at the track to where everything, like none of that matters. NASCAR talks about, we care about driver safety, but they purposely knew that Kansas is a place where it's going to be 4 wide, 3 wide on the restarts. And they brought out caution after caution following that. They tore up so many cars that didn't need to be torn up. Austin Cindric was having a career day at a track where I think he could have easily got a top 10. Looking at how he was running late in the race, Austin Cindric could have gotten a 9th place finish, and I don't care. You should have played him on DraftKings anyway. But in times like that, I don't care about fantasy. That's Austin Cindric driving his ass off with absolutely no practice, being screwed over by NASCAR making this decision. You had not Stuart Haas, you had Stenhouse, and Priest get destroyed for no reason other than NASCAR likes restarts. NASCAR likes side-by-side racing. The other report that I'm hearing from people is that this is what NASCAR wants, and they're even considering lowering the horsepower for next year's car even more than the 550 package. They're thinking maybe like 450, 500, because they want more on-throttle time. They want to turn every race into a pack race. They want side-by-side racing. Basically they want plate racing at every track. That's what they want. And NASCAR doing what they did at Kansas shows that. And so if NASCAR is literally going to start pulling more and more strings, what's that? They've always kind of pulled strings for Kyle Busch. Yeah, and that's fucked up. That's not a fair sport. If you're going to keep trying to kneecap somebody because you don't like him, showing up. I saw people on Twitter this weekend being like, oh man, I'm so mad Kyle's in this truck race. Well, they should be out racing him. That's not a bad thing, having somebody go out there and be faster than other people. That just shows, like, hey, that's how good they are, regardless if he should be, quote unquote, in that series or not. But if you look at this year, the Clash, the only reason, same with the Roval, the only reason the Roval was a success is because they keep wrecking on the chicane, taking the checkered flag. The Clash this year, wrecked, coming out of the chicane, coming to the checkered flag. What's that? NASCAR once again pulled strings during the Clash when there's absolutely no rain, but they were like, oh man, the race is spread out. We got real racing. Got to throw a yellow and get them back together. That's why they brought stages into this. NASCAR wants cars side by side. They want more and more restarts. And that Clash yellow was even more bullshit when you see that they're racing with fucking puddles at Talladega. Are you kidding me? Really? NASCAR? There was more water at Talladega, even before it started raining the Xfinity Series, than there was on the fucking road course at Daytona. Really, NASCAR? Like, that's what I mean. Let's look at the Bristol dirt situation. We're gonna use, first off, multiple things about this. I didn't complain, and I understand if you do not want to listen to this. I completely understand. I gotta get this out, man. The Bristol race. Yet again, we gave them too much credit. Our scientists, our experts have figured out the best dirt that'll keep dust from coming up even when it's dry. Yeah, a bunch of bullshit there. The whole, announcing that they're coming back to Bristol during the race, that means they had already planned. It was a failure. It wasn't good racing. Hell, it was so bad that they had to go single file. They were like, nobody can see. Competitors can't see. Fans can't see. We're going to go single file because that's how big of a failure this is. And they had already scheduled another race there next year. And before this race was even complete, before that week was even complete. That's NASCAR not making good decisions. That's NASCAR stupidity, And then back to this Kansas race. Okay, I'm sorry, NASCAR. It was green flag. There was pit strategies being called. You fucked over Chris Buescher. Thank God. He got bailed out by all the cautions and stuff. But Chris Buescher and his team, they got fucked over by staying out because, literally every time this has happened, you've thrown a yellow. And then as I put on Twitter, it's absolute bullshit that the booth is on their knees sucking NASCAR's dick trying to find a fucking excuse. Larry Mack, bless his heart, he's the only one who's like, I don't know what they're doing. They've never done this before. Whereas Mike Joy's like, well, they just want to make it more, fair. They're going to let everybody's strategy play out. They don't want to give anybody, an advantage or anything. No, damn well they just want restarts in the last 30 laps to cause crashes and cause action, because that's when they know some people tune into the end of NASCAR races to just see how it ends. And if they can grab that audience, that tune in for the end of the race, the real fans, these people who tune in at the end of the race aren't people who are watching this race because they enjoy racing. They enjoy, chaos and quote unquote entertainment. And so going back to why I was so frustrated and why I feel like a tool for projecting this stuff is because this is like fucking WWE. It's an entertainment sport. Why am I wasting my time? Why are we, not even me, why are we wasting our money on this? Like, really? Between Pierce leaving and how much I despise NASCAR, like Kansas, and I'm still feeling this way. Like, I do not care about Darlington this weekend. I do not care about the rest of this year. I do not want to watch NASCAR the rest of this year, this week. I don't care about Darlington. I don't care about the races. I don't care about any of the series, because that race at Kansas was illegitimate. It was rigged. It was changed. It was changed by outside forces, by the sanctioning body. That's equivalent. That's not equivalent to a blown call in the NFL. That's not equivalent to the Saints and Chargers or whoever it was when the Saints got knocked out of the playoffs because of pass interference or not a call, whatever. This is equivalent to a team receives the kick, receives the ball on a kickoff, kneels, starts at 20. We got like 3 offensive linemen offsides on the first down. They let the play go. It's a catch, first down, yada, yada, yada. And then 4 plays later, they decide to, address that penalty that should have been at offsides on the first down. And then they push them back there after, there's already been, 4 different plays. It's like going back in time and changing an NFL game in the middle of the NFL game and saying, well, we're like in the booth, in the race control. Somebody was like, hey, there's a tire out there. Should we throw a yellow? And the race control officer was like, let's just let this one ride. No, I don't think we need to. And then somebody else was like, but we've always thrown a yellow. Why are we waiting for this? And then the race control guy is like, well, we kind of need this to get back to close. I mean, Kyle Larson's kind of walking away with this, and if we do this, then kind of everybody can pit and yada yada yada. And then really nobody else was like, no, we need to throw a yellow. We've always thrown a yellow for this. Like, are you kidding me? Really? Like, I'm so incredibly frustrated with the sanctioning body, NASCAR in general. Like, so I'm going to put money on races that, and I understand, parts can fail, tires can come apart, people can crash, but I'm going to put money on a sport to where I'm putting money on the best drivers, and the best drivers showed up this week. The running order before that, and even towards the end, the good drivers, the guys who had fast cars, were there at the end of the race. But NASCAR didn't like who was out in front. They didn't like that how quote unquote boring the racing was, and they're going to change it. They're going to make decisions in the middle of competition to change the outcome of the race, to make it quote unquote more exciting. No, dude, I don't want to put money on that. I don't care about that. I don't want to watch that. That's not a real sport. That's not, that's not competition, man. That's outside entities coming in and changing the game, changing the race, changing the event. And so that's why I'm so angry. That's why at the end of that race, I felt like a tool. I was like, I'm taking this seriously. In NASCAR, look, DFS touts and DFS players in general, we probably take your dumbass sport more serious than these boomers you're trying to keep, or these Zoomers you're trying to get in. Who else is there watching? Even during when practices come back or when they were there, who's there watching the entire practice? Who's there looking over the data? It's us. It's either people who put money on it or seriously diehard fans. And everybody called it out. They were like, dude, this is bullshit that they're keeping it green. But then right after the fact, everybody's like, oh, well, that's just NASCAR being NASCAR. Oh, sometimes they throw things. Kyle Busch is winning the Truck Series. That's just how NASCAR is. Dude, that's not right. That is absolutely not right. That's a bunch of crap. Like, I don't want to fucking put money on that. I don't want to put money on this stuff that they're, and it's going to get even worse. It's been getting worse. This is the most egregious example of it, and their bullshit response. I have to say this. I just have to say this. It's depressing to just see where the sport's going and to see just how it's going. And if they can do it here, and sure, they'll get some backlash during it, but in their minds, they got an awesome finish, man. And then people are like, well, Larson shouldn't have, plowed over Blaney. Well, Larson's mad because he had to survive restart after restart, and then NASCAR chose to make it a green-white checkered. Go listen to Larson's radio, listen to other drivers' radio, listen to other spotters' radio. The track was ready with 3 to go. And NASCAR was like, no, we want a green-white checkered because we want some wild action. And so they paced him one more time. That's why we had the final green-white checkered. Like, what is that? And I know people are like, well, Brandon, you're just tilted because, your lineup didn't work out. Your research, I know you worked all week. Your research didn't work out. And it's not that, man. It's NASCAR stepping in and changing it. It's absolute horseshit. And it's so stupid. I can't believe Bob Cockris is fucking defending NASCAR. You know what you should be called? Bob Cockris, because you're sucking their cock. That's all you're doing. Mike Joy, I've had no respect for you for a long time. Go fuck yourself defending NASCAR doing this in the moment. Jeff Gordon, you're a fucking moron. Get the fuck out of the booth. Clint Boyer, I don't know what the hell they're giving you. They must be giving you some... they got to be giving you a lot of money, man, to step in from racing, full-time racing in your entire career, not just in NASCAR, just racing in general, and being like, yeah, that's all right. That's pretty cool. They're letting, everybody has a chance to pit before they throw a yellow, but they don't know when they're going to throw yellow, but they're going to, have a dick measuring contest with who's going to act first. NASCAR's going to throw out the yellow, or is Chris Buescher going to pit first? Ooh, man, Chris Buescher waiting for the yellow. Is NASCAR going to throw it? And they this is ridiculous, dude. This is not a legitimate sport. This is not, the competition isn't legitimate. It's just not. And so, long story short, I really don't want to play fantasy NASCAR. I really don't want to watch racing. I really don't. So I'm asking this. I'm putting this out there. I will continue doing it. For the patrons and for the viewers who listen to my stuff and who I've helped win money, or who I've helped talk to, or who I've helped, over the last few years. I'm going to continue it for you guys because I've met a lot of good people through this, and I've had a lot of fun making content, but I am absolutely disgusted with NASCAR and the sanctioning body, and frankly, I'm going to run my same projections. I'll do the same stuff. I'll look at lap data and things of that nature, but I'm not playing the amount of lineups that I have these last years, and even this year. Just not worth it. I don't care enough. So I'm going to be playing probably 3 lines for the truck, 3 for Xfinity, 3 for the Cup Series. I'm not going to devote the amount of time that I was going through all my lines. I'll probably hand make 2, use whatever the optimizer says. With that said, since Piers is gone and he's not coming back, he's even removed the links to his optimizer, probably for the live shows, I'll probably be showing the optimizer more. I'll probably be showing the lineups that I generate and what I do, because I feel like that is a better use of my time than what I've been doing for fantasy NASCAR. At least on my side. Like I'm still gonna offer everything. I'm still gonna be on point. I'm not just gonna mail it in. But that's where I'm at. And I wanted to put this out there. If you guys made it this far, thank you for listening. As you're a person who I actually wanted to say this to and talk to and say thank you for being here. I'm gonna keep, making stuff and making projections and everything that I was offering on the Patreon. I'm gonna work on trying to get lap data for you guys. But does it really fucking matter? Like, really? Does the fucking lap data Kansas even fucking matter? It all changed at the end. I knew it was going to change. I didn't know NASCAR was going to be the whole reason for it. Does that even matter? Does it even matter having the fastest car anymore? We need the guy who gets the laps led for fantasy NASCAR, but it doesn't fucking matter for NASCAR now. You got to fit a narrative. So keep that in mind. I've heard that from multiple people inside NASCAR that they don't want Kyle Larson winning that much. They do not want him dominating. And this was it, man. This absolutely 100% confirmed it, and people not calling it out anymore other than during the race. It's ridiculous. They're trying to bail out NASCAR and saying, well, this is what they should do from now on. I don't know what to tell you, man. They're changing the rules. NASCAR changes the rules weekly to fit a narrative. NASCAR has always done that. Chase Elliott winning the championship last year. Absolutely 100% NASCAR behind that. And I'm not fucking kidding. That's just how it is, man. NASCAR is completely illegitimate. Illegitimate. Am I saying that correctly? I've been saying it a lot here. Oh, yeah, there we go. Hope I feel like a moron. Anytime I go on rants, man, I start using words I haven't used in fucking years. But yeah, it's it angers me so much to see NASCAR do that and change the outcome of a race. I just want to put that out there. If you guys like hearing me rant, oh, this was a good one. If you don't, if you want to DFS stuff, told you in the beginning. But yeah, NASCAR rigged that fucking race, man. They did not like what they were doing, and that has left just a horrible taste in my mouth for NASCAR. I have tickets to the championship race in Phoenix in the fall, and I fucking don't want to go. I really don't. It crossed. It's that egregious, man. It's that crazy. Unbelievable.